All right, everyone. We're going to start with one of my favorite chants. And it is a very ancient and beautiful and potent mantra that is a reminder of who we are. The mantra is Soham, which means I am that. So means that, hum means I am. And when we work with this mantra, often it's used in conjunction with the breath because it kind of mirrors the sound of the breath. So on the in-breaths, hum on the out-breath. And so with every breath cycle, when we practice this mantra with a breathing meditation, we're affirming again and again, I am that. And it becomes cyclical. I am that I am, that I am, that I am. So we're going to be working with that today in our meditation. I am that. What does the that refer to? The that refers to the consciousness that is beyond this egoic mind, that is beyond this body, that is beyond who we think we are. So I am that divinity which I seek. So come into your yogic seat. Open your heart, soften your shoulders away from your ears. I'll sing this chant through once, and then we can sing it together. Soham, I am that I am. Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham, Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham. So Shiva refers to Shiva, which is another name for that consciousness, that all-encompassing consciousness, just another name for God. So try that with me. Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham, Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham. Try that. Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham, Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham. In English, I am that I am. 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 Again. I am that I am. 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 Together, Soham. Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham, Soham, Soham, Soham Shivoham. And taking a deep breath in, let's bring the hands together in front of the heart. In remembrance of who we are beyond who we think we are. I am that. Let's join our voices together in the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And just let that mantra Soham, Soham echo internally for a moment, just to feel the reverberation. And then letting your eyes open with a soft gaze. Let the breath lift the arms, so we begin some seated sun breaths. Inhale, reaching through the fingertips, rooting down through the tailbone. Exhale, arms reach to the horizons and sweep fingertips, brush the earth. Just syncing up the breath and the movement and the attention into one flow. So even just the simplest of movements becomes an opportunity for a meditation in motion. Finding your 3-part breaths as you do this, lifting the breath up into the chest at the top of the breath, exhaling chest, ribs, and belly, drawing the navel in at the end of the exhale. You can layer on your ujjayi with a little contraction in the back of the throat, narrowing the airway, so we've got the Darth Vader sound going on just a little bit in the back of your throat. Reach, lift, and lengthen. And on the exhale this time, bring your hands to clasp behind you in Yoga Mudra. And just take a couple of breaths to breathe in and out of that heart center. Shoulder blades draw toward the center of the back, toward the spine, like they want to kiss one another. Heart radiates open. And just take a few breaths in and out of that heart space. Today's quote for the open heart is from Hafez. An awake heart is like a sky that pours light. An awake heart is like a sky that pours light. Lift the pinky side of the fingers just a little bit to get a little bit more lift and reach the hands back to the back of your space. Visualize that light pouring from the heart center, the hridayam, the spiritual heart. Another deep breath in and release. Take a moment just to shake out the arms, feel all that energy in the arms. And roll the shoulders. Find some shoulder rolls one way. Anything you need to let roll off your shoulders this morning. And then rolling forward. Just finding your full range of motion in your shoulders. And once again, committing to that length from root to crown, tailbone roots down, crown lifts to the sky, arms reach and rise. We'll take it into a twist flow. Inhale, center. Exhale to your right into the twist. So I'm mirroring you here. Inhale up to center. Exhale, left. Keeping elegantly long and lifted in the spine, using your breath to flow side to side. So you find the rhythm of your own breathing. You don't need to sync it up with my breathing and my movement, but your own. And when we do these opening warm-up twists, what we call pratapana in Sanskrit, the building of the sacred fire, as it's translated, we're actually not needing to go to our deepest twist, but just exploring our range of motion, beginning to just warm up the movements of the spine. Build a little bit of that fire, that warmth. And one more round each side, at whatever pace you're comfortable. And then coming back to center, bringing the hands in front of the heart again. Maybe this time, for our practice today, each time the hands come together, it's just a reminder, I am that. I am that divinity which I seek. Remove your cushion or anything that you're sitting on so that your sit bones can be right on your mat. And we're going to begin some spinal rocking So just first, seated cat-cow. So you just have your legs crossed in a loose, easy pose. You don't need to be in half lotus. Just a loose, easy pose, hands on the outside of the knees. Inhale forward on the sit bones. Spread the heart, arch the back, lift the chin so you open the throat, shoulders back and down. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding the spine the other way. So your sitting bones are like the blades of a rocking chair as you rock forward and back and explore cat-cow movements, spinal flexion and extension. All the while, that soft, whispering Ujjayi breath sweeps the back of the throat. The breath is full and deep. See if you can make a new discovery. We often can go on autopilot when we go into these movements that we've done again and again. Each time we come to yoga practice, oh yeah, I've done cat-cow a zillion times. But see if you can notice something unique or different or interesting about your spine as you're exploring these movements today. Maybe there's something going on today that wasn't going on yesterday. Maybe there's some little nook or cranny that you can explore or open or deepen into. And then we're going to take it right from here into rock and roll, right on the spine, full spinal rocking. So on the next exhale, draw the thighs in toward the ribs, tuck the chin to the chest, and come onto your back to rock and roll, to massage the spine and all the nerve endings that run along there, the chakra points. Just going to go up to the shoulders. You want to keep your chin tucked so that the upper back is rounded. You'll roll much better that way. If you need a gentler version of this, the most gentle would be just to lie on your back, hug your thighs in, and let them go. Hug them in and let them go, just enough to lift your low back and sacrum area. So you can just do that, or you can do side-to-side rocking if that feels better. If you want to take the deeper rocking, hands can be either under the crooks of the knees, keeping the chin tucked, and making sure that you're breathing. So keep rocking and rolling. You're going to rock from sit bones to shoulders, inviting the prana to flow, inviting a little warmth to, that pratapana, that inner fire, building that warmth. If you want to take this to the most vigorous expression, cross your ankles, grab big toes with opposite fingers, and let the feet come over the head into kind of a cross-legged plow pose. When you rock up, you're going to give it a little bit of cow movement as you arch back and draw the shoulders back. So keep breathing and exploring the depth of spinal rocking that feels invigorating for you, warming for you. Keep breathing, keep rock and rolling as gently or as vigorously as you'd like. Now, if you are doing the gentler rocking, we're going to transition to table, either a gentle way or a little more playful way. The gentle way is to roll onto your side and just press yourself up and come into table. The vigorous way, and I'll just demo this, some of you might want to play with this. If you have your ankles crossed, you're going to rock right up into your seat, roll right over onto your hands and knees. So it becomes just a fun way to transition into table. I'll do that again so you can see. From my rocking, rock right up through a seat and uncross your legs. You're right there in table. Take it right into cat-cow. So however you can get there is fine. And just feeling the difference between doing your cat-cow on your hands and knees and doing it seated. Once again, finding your breath here, regulating the breath so it syncs up with the movement. So everything is brought into one flow. And then spine comes to neutral, hands forward just a couple of inches, find those hip circles. Invite the lubrication in the hip joint as you stir it up a little bit, just stimulating the synovial fluid in the joint capsule to flow. You can circle the other way. And to deepen our exploration of spinal flexion and extension, we'll come right into a seal pose. So come forward onto your thighs, touch your big toes together, heels draw as close to the lower body, the low back or buttock area as you can, and bend the elbows, as generously as you can here to deepen the experience of the front body expansion. That elegant arch, look up so you're opening through the throat area, the heart, the solar plexus. Big breath in, pelvis just hovers over the mat. Exhale, round into a little deeper cat stretch. So try coming up onto your fingertips here. Draw the navel in, squeeze out all the breath, and then sink it right back. Just melt right back into your child. See how child feels this morning. Reach the hands forward. Let the heart soften down to the mat. You can have your belly rest on your thighs or between them if your knees are wider. Take a deep breath in and offer out anything that you need to release and let go. And I'm going to invite you to take a couple more rounds of that sequence, going right up through table into your seal. Remember to keep the elbows bent, shoulders draw back and down. Exhale, round into cat and sink into child. So a couple more, just at your own pace. You don't have to go as deep as me, go as deep as your body allows. And then rising back up after your last child pose, just taking an in-breath to come up into table. We're going to do a lovely side flow. So from your table pose, you're going to slide one leg back. I'm going to start with my left leg back because that way I can be facing you when I open up to turn sideways. So spread the fingers wide, press down and forward into the hands. You're on the ball of your back foot. You're pressing out through the heel so you get that stretch in the calf muscle. Lift the back of the knee crease so you're really powering up that leg. Stretch the bottom of the foot on the left side or whatever side you're doing. And then bring your shoulders over your wrist. Pivot on the right knee to come into a half circle. This first half circle, you're just going to keep the outer edge of your left foot parallel to the short end of your mat. Come up on the right fingertips so you get a little more lift. Right fingertips or fists. Press the hips forward to the original left side of your mat. So you can get a little arching of the back and a few big sweeping circles here. So reach long and away so you're lengthening and stretching through the left side of the body. Then rotate the torso open so your heart and your face looks up at the sun. Exhale, turn to face the earth, brush the earth. Greet the sky on the in-breath. Exhale, greet the earth. One more round. Arching back as you press the hips forward to get the nice front body expansion. And then grab that golden cord hanging down, let it draw you up so you're using your core strength a little bit here to come up. Externally rotate that left leg. I'm not mirroring now, so we're going to come into gate. Lift your right hand, reach it to the sky. And take it. So the other hand, that's it. Reach up and then over, so you're opening your gate. So now the right side of your body is opening, the ribs are opening. You can slide your left hand down that left leg or bring the back of the hand to the calf. So when you bring the back of the hand to the calf, you can give a little press that gives you a little bit more leverage to rotate the torso open and uses your core a little bit more. And then we're going to come right back from your gate pose into the half circle. Bring those fingertips down. This time tippy toes to fingertips along the left side. So just touch your left toes down, reach long and away, and breathe into those fingertips. And we're going to take a flow at your own pace, going from gate. So we're expanding through each side of the body, taking deep breaths, using the core to make that transition gracefully. Inhale, lengthen into your half circle. Exhale into your gate. And take one more round of that. And the next time you come into your half circle pose, grow an inch longer from your left toes to your left fingertips, or whatever side you're on, unshrugging your left shoulder, lifting the navel in and up, and then pivot the hips. Keeping that left leg lifted, you can come right into table balance. Your hip pointers, your hip creases are level, hip pointers face down. You're making one long parallel line to the floor, reaching right hand forward, left toes back. Back of the neck is long, so look right down. Just under where your face is, just so rather than if you look up forward, you're going to be kinking the back of the neck. So think about the crown reaching forward, core activating, navel in and up. Inhale, grow long along that diagonal line, toes to fingertips. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, contract, rounding the spine, chin to chest. So this is a stability and balance practice as well as a cat-cow. Core activation for stability. Grow long and reach. Hold here for a moment, not holding the breath, but just holding the posture. Notice if your back leg is sinking a little. See if you can energize with the glutes and the hamstrings to keep that leg in everything, the whole back body in a horizontal line. Then two options here. You can either take an opposite hand to foot bow kick, lifting high and kicking back into your hand, lifting your gaze, rolling that right shoulder back, or both hands down and just press up with your toes. Try not to bend the elbows. Try to keep the arms straight. Yeah. And release. Take it into a nice cat stretch. Sink it back to your child before we transition to the other side. Big breath in. Exhale. Audible sigh to release. Let go of any residue of tension that might have built up as a result of that sequence. Inhale up to center, bring your knees under your hips, slide the other leg back, press out through the heel. Down and forward into the hands till you feel the juice in the calf muscle. And stretch in the bottom of the foot. And then we're going to pivot on in this case, on my side, it will be my left knee, pivoting and coming into the half circle. First half circle, we're going to have the foot flat, the right foot flat, toes pointed straight ahead, outer edge of the foot lining up parallel to the short end of your mat. Come up onto fingertips or fists on the left hand. Grow long and expand. Big breath in and take some big sweeping circles. Greet the sky. Brush the earth. So this gesture, this wide open, rotating the head, the shoulders, the heart, the belly, even the hips to the sky. It's like a gesture of saying yes. It's like just bringing into the body. What are you saying yes to? And that sweeping the earth is like a gesture of gratitude to all that supports you and nourishes you. Grab that golden cord and let it take you right into gate. So rotate, externally rotate the extended leg, knee point straight up. Foot can be flat or flexed. Take it into your gate. Exhale, reach long and away. Notice if that upper arm is bending or the shoulder is shrugging too much. So the shoulder draws away from the ear, the arm is straight. So you got a long line of electric energy reaching right through the fingertips. When you bend the elbow, that breaks up that current. And flowing, inhaling, tippy toes to fingertips, half circle, exhale, gate. Play with that a few more times, taking your time to explore the sensations of side body stretch. When you come into gate, notice if your hips are folding and you want to bring the hip pointers forward so everything is in one plane, shoulders and hips, and legs, except for that lower leg that you're kneeling on. One more round of taking it from half circle into your gate, expanding and opening through the rib cage on that side that you're stretching. And then one more, tippy toes to fingertips, grow an inch longer, and pivot into table balance. So Activate that core lift, Uddiyana Bandha, navel in and up. Reach forward with left hand, reach back with right toes. Find that long parallel line. See if you can sense in your body. You can even look underneath to make sure that leg isn't kind of sagging down. So this is activating the core, activating the legs, activating your sense of balance and stability here, and flow with contracting and expanding. Lengthen on the inhale, exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, forearm to thigh. Flow with breath, let the breath move the body. Any of these dynamic flowing sequences, we always sync it up with breath so it becomes a moving meditation. Growing long, find that long horizontal line. Notice what's going on in the back of the neck. See, you might need to tuck your chin a little. And then take it into opposite hand to foot bow kick. Try to lift that knee higher than the hip if you can, or both hands down and just press up. Either way, you want to draw the shoulders back and spread the heart. When you're ready to release, melt it back one more time to child's pose. And any intuitive micro movements or wiggles and waggles here that feel good in your child's pose. Just taking a moment to connect again with your breath, see what's alive in you. Inhale to rise up into table, fingers spread wide, toes curl under, take it back to downward facing dog. And everybody's got their own little way to open up and warm up into down dog. Maybe a slow walk, lengthening one leg and then the other. Reaching heart down to the mat, to the place between the feet. Navel lifts in and up, low belly presses toward the front of the thighs. Maybe you're taking a bent knee variation, so your heels will be lifted, that's okay. What you don't want to do is come into any kind of rounding of the lower or upper back so that the shoulders come over the wrists. You want to keep an unbroken diagonal from your fingers to your hips. And you can still do that with bent knees if you need to, if your hamstrings are tight. On the next inhale, take it into your plank pose, coming into a firm and steady plank, body in one long line. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, firm up the legs, press back through the heels. And we'll take it into a flow. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. If you need to do this on your hands and knees, you can do knee down plank to child. If you'd like to do that, if that's a little easier for you. Syncing up with breath, plank, and dog. Each time you come into downward dog, see if you can get a little bit more lift in that tailbone, a little more melting of the heart. You want to end up with your ears in line with your upper arms, pressing down and forward into fingers, thumbs, and the roots of the fingers and thumbs. And next time you come into your plank pose, you can take it right through the vinyasa sequence, knees, chest, chin, butt up in the air, toes curl under. Inhale your version of cobra. Maybe you're ready for full cobra after doing all that spinal warm-up. Maybe you want to take a low cobra, just chest lifts. But either way, all 10 toes are planted down, top of the feet, pressing into the mat. And exhale through table into down dog. So take a few more of those sequences. Inhale, plank, exhale, knees, chest, chin. Really lift that butt. If you need to just come flat on your belly as a modification, that's fine. Exploring your cobra, melting shoulders down and back. Exhaling back to down dog. And see if you can find your downward facing dog now as a resting pose. What can you do to bring it into a sense of rest? One of the things, if you notice that your heels don't want to go all the way down, you can use one of these wedges. It's a nice thing to have as part of your practice. If you notice that your heels don't want to come down, you can place your feet on the wedge like so. So I'm actually going to give you this wedge. Let's see. Come into your down dog and let's see if you need the wedge. Only a little bit. See how that feels. Yeah. There you go. From here, we're going to step it through into a lunge. So if you'd like to give it a little extra flair on the right side, you can start by lifting your right toes, three-legged dog. When you do this, see if you can keep the integrity of the rest of your inverted V shape. Exhale, step it through as gracefully as you can. Lower down the left knee, low lunge. Some of you may need to do this coming into table first and doing, and that's absolutely fine, whatever you need. If you need blocks underneath the shoulders, that helps give you a little more support without needing to shrug and be tense in the shoulders. Plant knee over ankle, release pelvis to the earth, and sweep the hands to the sky. It's fine to stay low if you need to. Soften shoulders, bend pinkies inward, coming into that quality of warrior, with focus, attention, and determination. Navel lift. Exhale, hands clasped behind you. Inhale, opening that heart. Let it pour light like the sky. Big breath. Exhale, release. Frame that right foot, step back, and take it through your vinyasa. Maybe now you're ready to do your chaturanga up dog, if that's part of your yoga repertoire. Floating the pelvis and legs above the mat, rolling over the toes, coming into down dog. So take it as you enjoy. Another deep breath in and out in your down dog. We're going to step through with the left foot. So if you did three-legged dog, which is optional, float the toes up, keep the heart low, keep that inverted V shape, unbroken diagonal from toes to fingers, and then step it through without a sound if you can. Unshrug the shoulders, lengthen from your tail right out through the crown of your head. Inner thighs toward the center to stabilize you. Your core lift is also going to stabilize you. If you need a little more wide open arms, so you're coming into that celebrative warrior gesture, what are you celebrating today? Bring that into your mind and heart. Big breath, exhale, and let that heart pour light like a sky full of light. Shoulder blades want to kiss. Lift the hands. Big breath in. Exhale, release. And step it back and flow it through as you choose. Now, it might be, if you need a gentler practice, that the right thing for you is just to take another moment of child. So do what you need to do to find your way into downward facing dog. Yeah. Yeah, when you come into up dog, if you're doing that, make sure the heads of the shoulders are pulled back so your heart is in front of your upper arms. Meeting in downward facing dog, I'm going to invite you to find a way to bring your feet between your hands into forward bend. For some of you, that might be a little hop, landing with bent knees and coming into that forward fold. For some of you, it'll be taking a little walk, coming up onto fingertips. So you come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Let everything go. Find some movements of the head. Movements of the shoulders, the arms. Making any letting go noises that you want to make. Keeping a nice close fold between belly and thighs. So notice if you're in this kind of a forward bend and you want to fold in nice and close. If you need to bring your hands behind your shins, behind your calves, you can do that to invite a little deeper fold. We're going to take a half lift, slide the fingers up the shins to below the knees, find your flat back. Draw shoulders back in a reverse shrug, draw navel in and up, spread the sit bones like the peacock feathers fanning open. Exhale, fold. Take another play. Lift, see if you can increase the length from your tail through your crown. Send that energy right out beyond the crown of the head there. And exhale, fold. And then soften the knees and sweep up like the rising sun. I'm going to fix my screen so you can see all of me. Why not see all of me? Okay, hands come together. Return to the heart. Oh yes, I am that. Feet hip width apart, tailbone roots down, crown lifts up. And we'll take it into a warrior flow. Inhale, arms reach and rise. Reach through right, reach through left. Take a little standing back bend, heart, hands, gaze to the sky. Exhale, slow, deep dive, bow to the earth. Take that half lift again. Flat back, exhale, fold, hands frame the feet. We're going to step back right into plank. So you can either step back one at a time or you can take a little jump. If you take that jump, make sure you land in a long line without the hips sinking down, without any spinal curve. So you don't want to let the hips sink or let the hips be up in the air. You really have to engage your belly as you hop back. I will demonstrate that one more time. Those of you who want to try it again can try it again. So you'll land with that firmness. Flow it through your own way to meet in down dog. Yeah. Once you're in your down dog here, we're going to step through with the right foot into a warrior one. But if you'd like to play with the three-legged dog and take it to the next level, you can kick asana. So lift those toes, then bend the knee, rotate the hips so that right hip stacks on top of left. Kick your own butt with your right heel. Keep pressing down and forward into the hands so your shoulders stay back. Then level the hips. Step through. Back heel spins inward, 45 degrees. Rise up, warrior one. Now you can either clasp your hands in that sword-like mudra, or you can be celebrative warrior. You can be goddess warrior. Doesn't really matter to me what you do with your upper arms as long as you're intentional about it. Square the hips, root the tail down, so your back heel, your whole back foot is flat, your toes are turned out 45 degrees. Take a moment to come into awareness of where that warrior energy needs to show up in your life. Unshrug the shoulders, expand through the heart. And then exhale, hands meet back behind you. Once again, letting that heart pour light, what I call the courageous warrior here, courageously open heart, and take it into your version of humble warrior, which could be just a diagonal line from heel to crown, or shoulder to knee as hands lift, or shoulder inside knee, crown of the head reaches to the earth. So you want to squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the clasped hands high, release the hands, and then we're going to wheel open. So brush left hand to the earth, reach long and away, and arc open in that graceful flow into your warrior two. All right, so that's kind of a fun play here, is to come from humble into just right into, sometimes it's helpful to press off with the other hand if you need that lift. Now, if this leg gets fatigued, just straighten it for a moment and then land back into your warrior, shoulders over hips, navel lift, knee toward pinky toe, heel lined with instep of the other foot. You all know how to do this. And we're going to take it into, turning the front palm up, take it into that playful dancing, also known as sky-gazing warrior. So look up at that palm. Your palm faces down so you can see your palm. Exhale back through warrior two. Forearm to thigh. I want to take it into another dynamic flow, expanding through the side body like you did in the half circle. This is Parshvakonasana, extended side angle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, dancing. Back hand slides down that extended leg. Exhale, right through your warrior two. Inhale, extended side angle, reaching beyond. So take it into the flow as you enjoy, maybe playing with a variation of dancing warrior, grabbing the back of the head and looking up, or taking a bind. Yeah. So focusing on making a long line of energy that isn't broken. So sometimes you bend your wrist, and yeah, so just bringing an awareness to that. Reaching beyond, keeping those warrior legs. And next time you come into that extended side angle, keep your core active here, press into the forearm, and if it's available, take it into a bind. Reaching back behind back of the hand to opposite hip, or slip pinky and hip crease to grab your thigh, rolling torso open, and then we're going to pivot after you open up the torso toward the sky, heart toward the sky as much as possible. Reach long and away, in breath, and exhale, pivot into your lunge. On the ball of the back foot, take it into a revolved side angle, twist to your right. Reaching right hand up, knee over ankle on the right side, activating through that back leg, left leg. Exhale, release, step back, flow it through your vinyasa. If you're needing a rest, it's fine just to do cat, cow, or child. We'll meet in down dog when you're ready. So what I often see people doing in the cobra is automatically lifting your hands. That's a practice we do to engage the back muscles, but if you're just going through the flow, keep your hands down. Just keep them there just for balance, and only press into them if you're coming into the full. But you don't need to do this. You can just keep the hands just placed under the shoulders. So from your downward facing dog, everybody with me? We're going to take it into that warrior flow on the other side. So floating the left toes up. And if you want to kick asana, that's optional. You can always just step it through into your lunge and wait for us to get there with you. So lifting knee to the sky, kick your butt, roll that hip open, big breath, and gracefully step it through. Starting with high lunge, just to square your hips and unshrug your shoulders, then spin the back heel inward, plant that foot flat, hands reach forward and up, and find your expression of warrior today, depending on what you're needing in your body and energetically in your life. Maybe you're needing more of a contemplative warrior. Maybe you're needing more of a compassionate warrior, Shakti goddess warrior, playful warrior. Whatever it is you need, invoke her or him or that. Call it in. Everything that we do in our bodies has a physical and energetic and psycho-spiritual effect on us. Hands back behind you. We can all use a little more courage, whatever it is. Opening the heart. Take a little arching back here before folding forward, either into a diagonal line, shoulder to knee, shoulder inside knee. Keep that front leg 90-degree angle, reach up, head, crown of the head reaches to the earth if you're taking the full expression. Then release the hands and wheel open into your warrior two. Check the alignment of your feet, spread wide through the heart, melt the shoulders down, sword-like energy out through both fingertips, palms down. So bring the fingers together so that, the energy is concentrated. When you come into Warrior Two, it's about cutting through any obstacles that are in your way. Fix your gaze over that front middle finger. Then turn the palm up and take it into the spirit of play. Look up at the sky. Exhale, back through Warrior Two. Inhale, reaching beyond. Make sure you roll the hips open. Body in one plane here. Still rooting down through the outer edge of your right foot here. And play in your own way, like you did with the gate, the half circle to gate. This is kind of a standing variation of that, standing expression of that. Lengthening and deepening into the fire of it all. Flowing with breath, with ujjayi. And then coming into your extended side angle to explore a bind. Maybe just back of the hand to the hip. Maybe grabbing thigh. Maybe reaching under and grabbing opposite wrist. That's a challenging one to hold. And reaching long and away, pivot back into your lunge. You're on the ball of your right foot now. Right hand comes flat. Take it into a twist to the left, long and wide. Big breath. Exhale, release. And step back to plank. One more time. Flow it through however you like. Taking your time, syncing up with breath, meeting in downward facing dog. Step or hop the feet between the hands to come into your forward bend. And then from here, drop the hips halfway. We'll come into Utkatasana, hands in prayer. Little Buddha smile, lifting the corners of the mouth. Making sure that you are really like you're sitting in a chair. You don't have to be all the way in the chair. It's like you're on the way to sit down. Maybe you're wondering whether there's a thumbtack there, so you've stopped. I used to be a school teacher, so I had to think about these things. Ujjayi breath, breathe, feel the energy in the legs, feel the fire. If you want to hold it a few more breaths, that's great. If you feel ready to release, slowly savor that release. Reach up an extended mountain, palms come together, down the center of the line. Who are we? I am that. Just pause and feel what's been invited in as a result of your practice so far. You can bring your hands down to your sides, turn the palms to face away from you, inner elbows to face away, just in Tadasana, mountain pose. Just to feel those sensations of prana streaming through you, life energy. And just connect with your breath. Let everything reset. For our balance play today, I'd like to take it into the eagle pose, which is an internal hip rotation, great leg strengthener, and great stretch for the upper body, upper back, upper arms. It opens up between the shoulder blades. So some of you, if you are challenged at all with balance in this, you can place a block on the outside of your standing leg. You can also do it with your low back, like near the wall, if you feel unsteady enough that you might lose your balance completely. Otherwise, you can just bring the cross leg over. So if I'm mirroring you, it would be wrapping your left leg. But what's important is you don't want to have space between your thighs. You want to get it really tight, really tight. Doesn't matter about the foot yet. You just want to get the thighs tight and think about those hip pointers drawing in, like sending those headlights to meet one another and cross. So you're going to get internal rotation of the hips as best you can. All right, the hip pointers aren't really going to move, but the sense is of that drawing inward, nice and tight. So your foot can either dangle, or it can go on the block, or it can wrap around if you can get deep enough into that squat. You want your knees to be facing, lined up with your belly straight ahead. So you don't want to get into like a little twisting thing. You want to be as much as you can, knees straight ahead. Get down into it. If the left leg is wrapped around, left arm underneath. Now you can just have backs of the hands to one another, or hook thumb and pinky, or wrap the wrists, thumbs point toward you in either case. To juice this up a little more, lift the elbows. Now you can always just practice with the legs until you feel ready to come out, or just practice with the arms. Yep, that's fine. You get a lot of benefit out of it just working with the arms. If you're doing the arms, you want to lift the elbows so you can feel the juice of it. Yeah, and then you can play with it, getting down into it. When you're ready to release your eagle, open your wings and take it to float right into crane pose. Feeling the wind beneath your wings carrying you, knee at hip height. In this case, you just keep a little micro bend in the standing leg. Fixing your gaze into that drishti point. And when you're ready to release, come to standing. Shake out the standing leg. You can do the other side, but come into the other side of your block if you're using a block. You can be on firm surface or your mat, wherever you're comfortable. Sometimes people find that being on a firm floor is easier to stay balanced. You don't have to adjust so much to deal with the softness of the floor. Remember, thighs are nice and tight here. Get down into it. Fine to keep the foot just dangling. Wrapping the foot is not necessary. Other arm comes underneath. Lift the elbows. Fingertips to the sky. A lot of people tend to go into this crooking the fingers. Line of energy right out through the fingers to the sky. Ujjayi breath. Sit down into it. Beautiful. That's a nice pat. Yeah. When you're ready to release your eagle, open your wings and transition gracefully into crane. The standing leg comes almost straight, but there's a little micro bend. Soften the shoulders and spread the heart. And when you're ready to release, come in for a graceful landing and do a little shake out. Let's check the time here. Beautiful. All right, everybody. I'm going to invite you to come down onto your mat. We're going to take a little pigeon exploration here, one of my favorite variations of the pigeon pose. So for pigeon is a great hip opener, glute stretch. It stretches the iliotibial band that goes along the outside of the thigh. It also, on the back leg, works the psoas muscle that goes up along here and around to the back. It gives you a back bend. It opens the heart. And apparently it can really also help for sciatica, helps to release piriformis muscle, which can be, it's deep in the glutes and can get very tight. You'll want some kind of, many of you will want some kind of blanket underneath. So you've all done this with me before, so you know what supports you. I'm going to start with, I'll face you. So let's start with the right from table pose. Draw your knee, your right knee behind the right wrist and slide your left leg back. Just placing the hands under the shoulders, just take a little bit of roly-poly pigeon. Rocking side to side, massage the glutes a little bit. And then squaring the hips, so the hip pointers are level, come up onto your fingertips or fists. So you get a little bit more opening and length through the front body. The shoulders want to draw down and back. You want to think of your shoulder blades as drawing down the back body as if you're sliding them in your back pocket. If you have any space between your right butt cheek and the floor, place a little folded blanket under there. Maybe just one fold, maybe more. And if your hands are too far forward, you're not going to get the back bend. So let the hands be close to your body underneath your shoulders. Draw them back. Let that heart pour light. Your back leg, the back knee wants to be straight down. So internally rotating that back leg so that the top, all 10 top of the foot and all 5 toes are down. Open up the chest. Slide those shoulder blades down the back body. Feel the expansion in the front body. And then in your own way, in your own time, coming into a forward fold pigeon. You can start by coming into your pigeon sphinx with forearms parallel, elbows underneath the shoulders. You can also juice this up a little by wiggling your foot on the right foot, which is on the left side now, a little closer to the upper left corner of your mat, till you feel the aliveness there. So maybe you want to have a block underneath your head if you're coming into the pigeon, if that's as deep as you're going to go. If you can go deeper, you can let your forehead come down, reach your hands forward into full resting pigeon. Maybe once the hips open and the glutes stretch a little bit, maybe you'll be in a position to slide that blanket away if your tush is right on the mat. But play for a moment with your resting pigeon, however it serves you now. Playing and exploring with the place where the sensation is strong, where you want to go, ooh, yeah. But not where you're feeling like it's causing you to grimace or tense in your shoulders or in your face. Then you've gone too far. Then you want to come up a little bit or put a little bit more support. And it's also fine, some people find that this is not supportive of their knees, this is a little too intense, so you can always do the supine pigeon, which I believe we did last week. So you can always take that as a variation. Send your breath to wherever it's tight, wherever you're noticing strong sensation, restriction, or tightness. Massage it with your breath and your awareness. Where we send our breath and our attention is where the life force, the prana, will flow. And then if you want to take it into this twist exploration, you can come back up onto your forearms, like me, with your elbows underneath the shoulders, and take your right hand and bring it just in front of and right beside, slightly in front of and right beside the right knee. Then you're going to pivot on the left elbow to grab with your left hand your right knee. So the forearm comes parallel to the front of the mat. So with this twist, you want to hold nice and tight with that left hand on your right knee. Press into your right hand. So the arm is either going to straighten a little bit or all the way. And keep lengthening out through the crown of the head. So think about lengthening from root to crown like an arrow going right through the spine and out the crown of the head. So you're rolling your right shoulder open, tucking left shoulder under. You can deepen this a little more by coming up onto fingertips. See how that feels. That juices it up a little more into that spinal rotation. Keep pressing into the mat with your left elbow. And then if you want to release, if it's available, release the right hand and bring it around for a bind. So back of the right hand to the left hip, roll the shoulder open, look up at the sky. And if you want to take it a little deeper, see if you can reach your right fingers, peace fingers 1 and 2, to your right toes, which is big toe, which is right on the left side, sticking out. And keep pressing into the elbow, grab the toe, let it roll open. This is optional, but it's a fun way to play. And you might feel a little juicier stretch in that IT band and glutes on the right side. Oh yeah. And then unwinding, coming back into facing forward pigeon. And any way that you'd like to release the stretch, maybe coming into down dog for a moment, maybe just coming into table, maybe just pressing that right leg back, pressing out through the heel, whatever feels good to transition before transitioning to the other side. So we're going to bring the left knee behind the left wrist, and you want to make sure that that knee is going out, that thigh is going out at a diagonal line. We can start with the heel close to opposite hip crease, or juice it up if you're ready by wiggling that foot a little closer to the upper right corner of your mat. Start with that little rock and roll dance, pigeon dance. Make sure your knee and top of the foot is straight down. Maybe let your pigeon play a little bit here. Yeah, you'll want to definitely have some support under there. And then come up onto your fingertips. If you're noticing space between butt and mat, support yourself. Your body will be able to release better into, when we're holding a pose for a while, if the body feels supported, it can feel safer to actually allow a release. Fingertips or fists, elegantly open chest. You can lift your chin for a moment to open through the throat. Let the shoulders melt down the back body. Let that light pour out of the open heart like the sky. Square the hips, so that means you're going to draw, in this case, your right hip crease forward, your left hip crease back. And when you're ready, you can come into your forward folded pigeon, resting pigeon exploration, either in Sphinx, head resting on a block, or full fold. Breathe and enjoy and explore. Use this as an opportunity to connect once again with the quality of your breathing, listening to the calming, centering sound of Ujjayi, feeling that whisper in the back of the throat, kind of like a feather brushing the windpipe. And as always, you have agency over your practice, so if you need to come out of a pose at any point, if your body says this is enough, listen and honor that. But one thing one way that we do get benefit is by allowing ourselves to go just a little bit outside of the comfort zone, because that's where the transformation happens. I saw a guy with a t-shirt once that said, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Yeah. We can take it into that twist if you come back into your Sphinx arms. And just move your left hand just to the side of your mat, just a little in front of and beside your knee. Pivot to grab your left knee with right hand, just keeping your elbow under your shoulder. Hold nice and tight onto that knee and press into the left hand. Notice how the twist feels. Keep lengthening out from root to crown, rolling the left shoulder open. Maybe coming up onto fingertips here. See how that changes the twist. Maybe this is enough for you, or maybe you can take it into a bind, back of the hand to opposite hip, and roll open, rotate the upper back open a little bit more, look up at the sky if it's comfortable. Otherwise, just stay gazing at the horizon. Peace fingers to big toe if that's available. It's just a fun way to play, not necessary. Press down into that elbow on the right side. And when you're ready to release, unwind, square the hips again, hands come under the shoulders, palms flat. And whatever releasing stretch you did before, you can take there. And from here, I invite you to find your way onto your back. You can hug your knees in, rock side to side. Maybe it might feel good to do a few hip circles here, stirring the hip with the thigh bone, widening the knees and bringing them together. So just take a moment for, on your back, a prana response that feels good to you as a reset. We're going to take it into a bridge pose for a deep back bend today. We'll do it twice, so you'll have a chance. Those of you who like to practice wheel will have a chance to do your wheel. But first, we're going to set up for bridge as a warm-up or as your practice today for your deep back bend. Line up your heels with your sitting bones. You want your lower legs to stay straight up and down when you lift up into the bridge, hands down by your sides. Letting the backs of the shoulders and the back of the head rest comfortably on the mat to start. And then rolling up, lift the pubic bone. So you're going to lift the sacrum, roll up, low back, middle back, upper back, tuck the shoulder blades toward one another. Either keep your hands where they are or interlace them under you, rolling the upper arms under the body. Hip pointers lift, hips higher than the heart, heart higher than the head, lower, the top of the chest, press toward the chin. Breathe and enjoy. Keep your inner thighs active so the knees stay planted where they are over the ankles. Thighs are parallel to one another. Feet are flat, pressing down into the balls of the feet to get a little more lift. Spread the heart. Breathe and enjoy. Ujjayi breath. You can either hold 3 breaths, 5 breaths, 7 breaths, whatever comfortable for you. And when you're ready to release, that mindful rolling down like you're settling down a string of pearls onto the mat, 1 pearl at a time. When you come back down, you might want to take another Apanasana, hugging the thighs in. I'm going to invite you to take one more exploration of bridge or a variation. So if you are a wheel practicer, I'm not going to teach wheel today, but if you know your wheel and you're ready for it and you want to take full chakrasana, you can take that. If you want to do a variation of bridge, You can come up into your bridge and try maybe one-legged bridge with one leg straight up in the air for a couple of breaths. When you make the transition to the other leg, try to keep the hips right where they are without letting them drop. Or you can take a more yin expression of the bridge pose by placing a block under your sacrum. Maybe medium setting, maybe lowest setting, maybe highest setting is available. But you want to just let yourself rest on that block for a few breaths. So you can take your expression of bridge number 2 or deep back bend number 2. And I invite you to come into the happy baby pose. So you're going to bring your thighs in and then let the lower legs go perpendicular to the floor. Knees are nice and wide to frame the outside of your rib cage. And either grab outside of your feet, inside of your feet, big toes. You just want your arms inside your knees, not outside. Try to keep the soles of the feet to face the sky. You want to draw those knees down so the thighs come parallel to the floor. At the same time, you're going to press the sacrum down into the mat to lengthen through the low back. And maybe play with this a little bit, rocking side to side. And then bring the soles of the feet together and let the outside edge of the feet rest on the mat. You're going to come into a supine bound angle just to take a passive yin hip opener. If you need to place some blocks or padding underneath your thighs, you can do that. You can even use fists underneath. Just letting the legs splay open like a diamond. The soles of the feet are together. Outside edge of your feet are resting comfortably on the mat. You can bring your hands to your belly, or one hand to belly, one hand to chest. Or maybe you want to take goddess arms. Take this as reclining goddess, whatever is comfortable for you. And just allow the breath to be slow and deep, Ujjayi breath. Remember, each breath is an affirmation, I am that. As the breath makes that natural sound, so hum in the back of the throat. So on the in-breath, hum on the out-breath. So with each breath, you are affirming, I am that, I am that. Here's something from the Radiance Sutras. The next time the thought arises, I want this, or I think that, grab hold of this I, perceive it by itself. Wonder, who is this I? I am animal. I am human. I am a loving heart. I am a questing mind. I am a particle of infinity. I am a witness to creation. I am consciousness itself. In meditation, embrace all these dimensions. Reach into the source, the luminous world of dancing energies in ever-changing relatedness. I invite you to transition into Shavasana for a few moments of integration. Our Shavasana will be brief, so we have time for a seated meditation. Just let the eyes close. Release any control of the breath. Soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, Soham, soham, soham shivoham. I am that I am. 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 Soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham. Begin to deepen your breath and bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And I invite you to fold your legs in toward your belly and roll over onto one side. We're going to transition to a pranayama and meditation practice. So come into a seated posture where you can be, that supports a long spine for you. So you might want to have a folded blanket, or if anyone needs a meditation cushion here, I can give you one. Do you want a zafu? Yeah. Okay. This one might be a little high, but you can try that. All right. Any cross-legged position that feels comfortable and supports that lift. Shoulders down and back, heart open. Your hands can be in any mudra you like. You can turn the palms up. You can have them down. You can have your fingers in Dhyan Mudra, thumb and first finger meeting, either palms down or palms up. If it's turned down, it's called Chin Mudra. This creates a circuit of energy. And let your eyes close. And I'm going to invite you to begin with just finding the three-part yogic breath, which you all know, beginning in the belly, lifting up through the ribs and to the chest, and then emptying out in the other direction, chest, ribs, and belly. This is our most basic pranayama practice, but just because it is the most basic, never underestimate its power and ability to be transformative for the nervous system and for the energy body, for the mind. And I'd like to invite you, as you engage this three-part breath, to do something a little bit different, to take the Ujjayi breath just on the exhale. So on the inhale, I invite you to open the back of the throat. So the throat is nice and wide open on the inhale. And on the exhale, you'll contract the airway and engage the glottis enough so that you hear that whisper sound, and it slows down the exhale. The exhale will naturally become longer than the inhale. It also creates a little more warmth, creates a more efficient exchange of oxygen to carbon, or carbon dioxide to oxygen when you do your inhale. So you're going to open the throat on the inhale and engage the Ujjayi on the exhale. And I'm going to invite you to add a visualization here. Bringing your awareness to the root at the base of the spine, the tailbone. And also bringing your awareness to the brow point, the third eye, Ajna chakra, right in the center of the eyebrows, the center of the forehead between the eyebrows. We're going to be doing what's known as spinal breathing pranayama, which is a visualization of a thin thread-like current of energy that runs from the base of the spine on the inhale up the Sushumna, the central channel, the spinal nerve, into the head, and when it gets to the center of the head, it turns 90 degrees to move to the third eye point. On the exhale, it draws in from the third eye, that line of energy, that current of energy comes in, makes a turn in the center of the head, and down the Sushumna to the base of the spine, so that it reaches that root point at the end of your exhale. Don't worry about the specifics of the visualization. Just do the best you can to sense a line of energy, a current, moves up from root to third eye on the inhale with open throat, and exhale down, making that turn in the middle of the head, down the Sushumna, to the root on the exhale. We're opening that conduit, that channel from root to third eye. This opens and activates the third eye, which is your center of higher awareness beyond the egoic mind, your center of intuition. It's what opens us to accessing truth. What is true for us? Consciousness. This thin thread of energy cleanses and purifies that conduit, that channel, opening and cultivating greater ecstatic conductivity. So this is an energetic, a neurobiological and spiritual transformation process as we purify the channel that goes from root to brow, opening the third eye, this is a simplified version of what's known as Kriya Yoga practice, as was taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. Balances and conditions the nervous system and all the chakra points that run along the spine. We don't want to send it out the crown at this point because that can create an instability in our energy. So we're conditioning and opening that conduit from root to third eye point. Three-part breaths. Open throat on the inhale. Ujjayi on the exhale. Energy rises on the inhale. The top of the breath, it meets the third eye. Moves back down on the exhale. Bottom of the exhale grounds into the root. Increasing ecstatic conductivity between root and brow. Muladhara and Ajna chakra points. Cleansing and purifying that conduit. Ecstatic conductivity increases. That ecstasy is your birthright. The ecstasy of being spiritually awake, energetically clear and balanced, fully alive. And on the next exhale, keep the eyes closed, but just release the spinal breathing pranayama for now. Take a moment to notice what's alive in you. Any subtle shifts that may have occurred as a result of this powerful pranayama practice. And allow the mind to gently rest on the rhythm of your breathing. Release any control of the breath. Just let the breath find you naturally, however it wants to be. without any control. Let the attention follow the breath. Last week we practiced the most basic form of meditation, which is using the breath as a focal point for our awareness. Now I invite you to layer on the mantra Soham. Just let it ride inwardly on the breath. So as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. So with each repetition of the breath cycle, you are affirming, I am that I am that I am. I am that consciousness which breathes and moves and has its being in me, through me. I am that divinity which pervades all existence. So hum. If thoughts bubble up into your awareness or any distraction arises in the mind, just gently come back to the mantra with the rhythm of the breathing. So, hum. Don't need to make your breath any deeper than it naturally is. Follow your body's natural rhythm and depth of breathing. And then letting your eyes open with a soft gaze. Bring the hands once again to meet, palm meets palm in front of the heart. Honoring all that you are. As body, as mind, as breath, as spirit, as infinity. Let's take a deep breath in. And close our practice with the sound of Om. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing practice this morning.